Hello, today we'll create a CDC application. CDC means Change Data Capture, so it allows our application to monitor changes in our table. So in this setup, we need to install a database. In our example, we'll be using postgre. So with this, let's download first postgre. So since I don't want to install the postgre, we can use the zip version, and let's work from there. So I'm going to download Windows version. Okay, then let's extract. Okay, extraction done. Let's just copy this folder on the C drive so that it won't be too nested when we do command line later. Okay, so let's go inside the bin folder. Go here on the Explorer, then type cmd. Okay, so you're now on the bin folder. Then let's create first a data folder. Let's put it outside. So let's put it here, md data. Okay, then go back to the bin folder, initdb -d, then the data folder, pgsql data -u, the username postgres, W -e, I will be using UTF8 encoding, and then the Scrum SHA 256. Okay, so it's asking for the super user password. Okay, so you can now start the database server using this command, but before we do that, we need to change something first on the configuration such that our library, Debezium, will be able to communicate with the postgre database. So it needs this specific property on the configuration. So this cont, just edit this one, say notepad. Since I'm on Windows, I'm going to use notepad, postgresql.conf. Then I will search for wall level, WAL_level, and just change this one to enable that one, uncomment, and change to logical. Save this one, then go back to the bin, and then you can copy this one to run your application, to run postgre. Okay, so it started. So now we can log in, and our username is postgres, and the password is the password that we set earlier. Okay, so we're now inside postgre. So \d list all the databases. Okay. Oh, sorry. \l. So to create a database, you say create database. Say we're going to create inventory. We're going to use this one later. Okay. Create database. Then to use the database, you say \c or connect inventory. Then to list all the table, \dt. So currently there's no table on the inventory database. Okay, to quit is \u. Okay, so to stop the database server, say pgsql -d, we need to specify the data folder and then stop. Okay, so that's it. We already configure the postgre that we are going to use later for our application. Okay, so now let's create a boilerplate application using the Spring IO. So I have already selected the language, the project, which will be using Maven, and currently I just use the 2.7 version. Any other version will also work. Then my group ID, artifact ID, package name, and the packaging will be a jar. So this is a Spring Boot application. So what are the dependencies that we need to use? So here we can search for the web, data, GPA, the postgre library driver, and then we'll also use the Lombok. Okay, so I have here added 4 dependencies. Then you just click generate. Okay. Then from here, I'm just going to extract the zip file and then copy this one to a folder that will be easier for you to find. So I'll just copy it here and then I'm going to open a project, which is the CDC app. So trust the project and then just wait for the application to load. The libraries and dependencies will be downloaded. Okay. So to start our application, we need first to add the dependency. So I'm going to put here the version. Specify here 213 final. Then let's add dependency. Then the version is the one we specify. Okay, so let's try to resolve first these dependencies. Alright, so it was able to resolve these dependencies. Then additional dependencies, the embedded and the connector postgres. Let's reload. All right, so all our dependencies are now loaded. Okay, so let's start now. So since this is a Springbok application and it requires a database connection, let's configure first the application YAML. We can rename, you can use the application properties or you can modify this one to use the YAML, application YAML. Okay, so here I'm just going to use a different port. Then for our data source, our database name was is inventory. Username, we specify postgre, password. I set it up as postgre, and the driver class name postgresql driver. Okay, then GPA. These are just additional properties, but you don't need to put it here. Let's create DDL auto to auto create our table later, the one that we are going to use. Then dialect is postgre SQL dialect. Okay. Then since Debezium doesn't use the default data source, so let's create a config for our inventory database. So data source host, local host, port. Database is inventory, username is postgres, password is postgres. This section is a config that will be used by Debezium to configure the CDC. The above here is used by the GPA. Okay, so let's start. Let's create our CDC config. So this one is an inventory, let's name it connector. Okay, so we need to handle the exception. Okay, then we create a configuration for Debezium. All these properties I'm going to put on GitHub for you to be able to get the code. So I also have we also need the properties to be configured. This one. So let's okay, so inventory name. Then you can just format this one. Control A to highlight the whole file. Then Control Alt J L so that our code will be formatted. Then value from Spring annotation. This is inventory data source host. And then database. Okay, so it will take the values from our application YAML, which is this section. Okay, so we already configured our Debezium. So these are all the properties that you need to add for Debezium to work. Then next one, we'll create a entity. Just a simple product entity. This one we will just use to create a table. So private long ID, private string name, and then data. We'll use Lombok. There. Okay, so let's try to run this one first. Let's check if there's issues. All right, our application is now running. But currently it's still not listening to the changes. So we need to create a listener for that one. Now, if you notice on the log itself, we had an SQL where we create a product table. This one was triggered because of our configuration, which is a DDL auto create. So if you already created the table itself, we can change this one to none. Okay, then we need to configure a listener so that our application will listen to the changes in our records. So let's stop this for now. Then let's create a new package called listener, and then let's create a CDC listener component. Private final engine change event, and this is a source record, Debezium engine, and then private final executor from the concurrent package. Okay, let's create a constructor configuration from Debezium. Let's set the executor to the executors new single threaded. Then Debezium engine create change event format of the connect class and we'll fix that one using inventory as properties, notifying embedded notifying handle change event that build. Okay, the handle change event is a method that we are going to create. Create method handle. There. So before implementing this one, let's create first the executor. Execute, then the pre-destroy, close. So this close throws an exception, so we'll handle that one. Okay, so let's do the one in the handle change event. So for now, we'll just going to log all events on the database. So source record, this is record change event. Record change event dot record. Ano? Seems we're missing something. Oh, this one, why did it become a list? Shouldn't be a list. And then okay, record. And then we'll just log that info. Okay, so we'll use Lombok SLF for J. Key source record key, then value. Source record value. Let's put it on. Okay, so we are done. So let's check. Run the application. All right, our application has started. Let's just wait for it to start up and then we'll test. Okay, so let's clear the console and then let's insert a record. So insert into product, ID, name, values, 1 and soda. Alright, so we're able to see the logs here, the key and the values, the ID and the name. So we're able to monitor the insert of the record in the database. So it will also work with update and delete. Let's try with update. Let's clear the console again. So update product set name, instead of soda, let's set it to Coke, or ID equals to 1. Okay, so the updated record is shown with the message type update. So let's see if it will also work with delete. Delete from product. Okay, so the operation here is delete, so we're able to log the operation. Okay, so that's it. So the source code is on the GitHub link on the description. Thank you.